A video filmed by the U.S. immigration agent who fatally shot a woman in Minneapolis on Wednesday has emerged, showing the moments before gunfire rang out. 47-second footage obtained by Minnesota-based outlet Alpha News shows Reen Nicole Good sitting behind the wheel of her car and speaking to the officer. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance shared the clip on social media, commenting that the agent had acted in self-defense. Local officials have insisted the woman posed no danger. Her death has sparked protests across the U.S. President Donald Trump's administration says Good tried to run over the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer in an act of domestic terrorism after blocking the road and impeding the agency's work. Democratic Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey has described that account as, in quote, garbage based on the video footage.
I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you.
Well, thousands of people joined another night of protests in Minneapolis following the death of a woman who was shot by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE agents in the city. Earlier, city officials said 30 people had been arrested during the weekend's protests and one police officer was injured after a chunk of ice was thrown at them. Protests against immigration enforcement have been held across the U.S. after 37-year-old Reen Good was shot in her car on Wednesday. The Trump administration had said the agent who fired the shot acted in self-defense. Local officials have insisted the woman posed no danger.
I'm out here today because we are currently in federal occupation of Minnesota, which is not what Minnesota stands for. My husband is a 22-year veteran of the Army, and we do not recognize this country anymore. So we are out here expressing our constitutional rights while we still have them, and we would like everyone to join us.
Just out supporting freedom and letting ICE know that they need to get the fuck out of the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, because we don't need any more murderers in this city. And I personally believe that people have the freedom to roam wherever they are, and that's a human right. And yeah, I'm just here to support that. It's pretty basic stuff. So it's really a no-brainer, and I think you see that with Minnesota, the way people are walking outside. Nobody wants to be outside in this cold, but we feel obligated to.
Well, Rotimi Kade joins me now from Texas to touch on this anti-ICE protest across the U.S. generally, plus Trump's response to the death of Reen Good. Good to have you, Rotimi. Will the Trump administration, do you think they will hold ICE agent Jonathan Ross accountable for Reen Good's death, or will it be swept under the rug? It's obvious. I mean, Trump has said the agent acted in self-defense.
Well, I think most likely it's going to be the latter. The Trump administration has defended the ICE officials, saying that he acted in self-defense, and his actions would definitely not receive any sort of threats, to losing his job with the ICE agencies. But what we know so far is that there have been a lot of calls for justice for Reen Good, and the sacking and facing prosecution of the ICE official that actually committed the act. We've seen protests over the night in downtown Minneapolis, especially at the hotel where it is believed that ICE officials are currently being housed. There were reported damages in the hotel premises and environs. And the protest has also continued till this morning, where we believe that thousands of people have also been arrested, and perhaps maybe in a couple of days from now, they're going to be charged.
So, Rotimi, how credible is the claim that Good posed a threat to Ross, given video evidence showing her attempting to drive away?
Well, so far, we've seen pictures and videos from different angles that have emerged, and people are actually looking at whether Renee Good was actually guilty of trying to supposedly run over ICE officials. But from what we've seen so far from different angles, that seems to be the opposite. The ICE officials right now is, we believe, is somewhere at large where is currently not in post to of his job. And the what we understand also is that the Trump administration is currently putting a sort of a pause on the raid in Minneapolis. But of course, this could also be a situation where we're going to be seeing another protest that is somewhat like a George Floyd protest in the same Minneapolis, just some few blocks away from where that incident occurred. How long this protest is going to be, we don't know. Protest seems to be gaining a lot of steam. People coming from neighboring states to join the protest, and it doesn't look like the federal government will definitely back down on this. So with the narrative that's going on, the Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem did say that the ICE official actually acted in good faith, and he did the right thing. We also see that same thing resonating from the Vice President J.D. Vance, who said that the ICE official actually acted in self-defense.
So, are ICE's aggressive tactics, including targeting neighborhoods, escalating violence, and undermining community trust? Because reports that we have here says that there's been more ICE agents deployed to Minneapolis, specifically thousands of ICE agents being deployed there.
Well, yes, of course, if you recall, we discussed this some few weeks ago. It's been over 30 days now that ICE officials have, been raiding houses and communities in Minneapolis. First was the Somali community, where it is believed that they ran a fraudulent ring that created a lot of suspicions. And President Trump even made those tweets on social media that is going to increase the presence of ICE officials in Minneapolis. And this is a more or less like a rebuttal to the president's threats that people came out and said the Gestapo approach towards the immigration operations in Minneapolis would not be accepted. And this is more or less like the community did not trust the operations of the immigration that is going to be done in good faith.
Now, does the federal government's refusal to share evidence with local authorities undermine transparency and accountability then?
Well, it's been a lot of a bit of a concern to local communities because since this incident happened, the FBI, CIA have actually taken over investigations, and the local security authorities are not involved. So the people within the Minneapolis and Minnesota as a state are really skeptical of what the outcome is likely going to be, given the fact that the narrative have always been that the officers actually acted in good faith, acted in self-defense. They are sort of concerned that this is not going to be as transparent and accountable as they would want it to be. So that's a big concern.
Now, also, do you think the Trump administration, the crackdown will prioritizes enforcement over human rights and safety?
I think the first priority of the administration is to enforce immigration laws. And that has always been at the back burner of whatever ICE or whatever security agents, police officials, federal officials are doing. That may absolutely not include whether human rights violation is definitely not going to be something is subject of debate. And we've seen several videos that those laws and rights might have been impeded upon, and that is a bit of concern. But we are definitely going to be seeing a lot of litigations in the nearest future, where those people whose rights are being violated can actually sue the federal government or federal officials that actually perpetrated that.
And just before I let you go, let's bring in the Congress here. It seems like everything the Trump administration has, he acts on, some people will say his impulse, but will Congress effectively oversee ICE and hold it accountable for misconduct, given recent, restrictions on congressional visits? And could this incident damage the U.S. global standing on human rights and immigration issues from what you just said?
Well, already I think the international human rights community have been watching closely what has been going on in the U.S., especially under the Trump administration. And I think there have been a lot of eyebrows that have been raised, but we've not seen any concrete or official moves being made to address those issues with the United States authority, representatives or authorities. But going back to your first question about the congressional authority, it's really dicey, because when you look at the conglomeration or the nomenclature of the Congress, as it were, there are more Republicans in Congress than Democrats. I think more Democrats have been voicing out those those violations rather than the Republican members. And a lot of Republican members don't want to step on the president's toes concerning this issue of immigration. So it's currently kind of divided. I don't know, maybe there would be some congressional authorities over that. I don't think the president actually need those authorities or kind of a power from the Congress for him to be able to do his job as immigration operations is concerned.
Right. Thank you so much, Rotimi Kade, for joining us from Texas to discuss the ongoing protests across the U.S. And Happy New Year to you.